think my daughter named herself, which I know sounds like a really like radical thing to say after losing a child. It just changes the way I see everything, past, present, and future. I was one of those girls who had her kids' names picked out before I even met my husband. Crazy alert, right? My husband must like the crazy. I always wanted 3 kids. I wanted a Rosie, I wanted a Peter, and then a little girl named like Gracie or Grace or even Emma. I did like Emma too. But I wanted 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy. My crazy isn't that crazy when it actually comes true. You're gonna have to sit through how I named all my kids to get to Poppy. With my first daughter, when we found out we were having a girl, I definitely knew I wanted to name her Rosie. But my husband wasn't so keen on like such a cutesy, whimsical name. Now he is, I promise. He wanted her to have a more formal name. Just in case she marries a prince one day. So we named her Rosalind. I got my Rosie. Pregnant with our second, found out it was a boy. It was Peter. Named after Peter in the Bible. And it's amazing how kids just become who their names are. Or their name is who they are. Rosie loves all things nature. Gardening, flowers, plants, animals. And Peter, he is a boy of words. So compassionate and has such a great heart. Anyways, Peter, again, perfect name for him. So now on to poppers. This was before like my husband and I even decided like if we were going to have a 3rd child, when we were gonna have a 3rd child. And I was reading a book at the time where the main character's name was Poppy. It was a Bridgerton book, you guys. Some people have asked what book it was before because I've told this story. And reading the whole book, I was like, I love that name. So one day, I remember sitting in a chair in a corner reading it, and this like feeling came over me of like, if I have a 3rd child, I think I'm gonna name her Poppy. And about 5 minutes later, I got a package on our front doors, and it was this Jesus storybook Bible that I had ordered. The first page, there's a line, "The way red poppies grow wild." And again, it was like this second piece of confirmation of like, if I have a child, I think I'm gonna name her Poppy. So the next day, my sister-in-law shows up at our front door with a whole bunch of flower starters for us, just as a little spring gift to my daughter Rosie. And all of the flowers were poppies, like the starter, like little starters of poppy flowers. You guys, I've never planted a poppy flower in my entire life. And so it was like this 3rd confirmation of, okay, there's something weird going on with this name Poppy. Like I keep seeing signs. Lo and behold, we got pregnant, found out it was a girl. I kind of knew it was a girl all along. Of course it's gonna be a girl, like we're gonna name her Poppy. We use cake pops to announce her gender reveal, but I had to break a hurdle. So my husband had always known that I wanted to name a 3rd child like Grace or Gracie, or we both liked Emma. So the whole pregnancy, he loved the name Emma for our daughter, and I loved Poppy. The hard barrier was that we already had a flower named Daughter that was, you know, whimsical and cute, Rosie and Poppy. It would be weird to have 2 daughters with those names, but I mean the name just grew on him. I won is what it was. Also with her birth, you guys, she literally popped out. The nurse even was like, you have to name her Poppy. As most of you who know our story, we did not know that her life expectancy was going to be short. We didn't know anything was even wrong until 4 months after she was born. So to have her name be like the flower of remembrance is just, and I see Poppy signs everywhere. Like she gives us this like symbol that she's still in our lives constantly. I don't know. So both my husband and I have said before, like, I think Poppy named herself.